So I'm here in Loudenvale for the penultimate round of the EDR series and what could be my second last race of my career. My contract is up. I've had conversations with other brands, I've had conversations with GT. The problem right now is that a lot of teams are pulling the pin, which means there's a lot of riders without rides when, the team pool and spots on team were already limited. So it's a really interesting time for the bike industry because anybody that I've spoken to is like, we're having to make major cuts, or we're investing more in our downhill team. GT at the moment, they don't know where their budgets are going to be. The bike industry is under the pump right now. So my main goals for these next two races are to just actually enjoy racing my bike. I have got onto the GT sensor and I'm just loving that bike. If these are the final two that I do, if I've had a great time, I can leave this sport going, yeah, I hit rock bottom, I made it back, and I loved racing bikes. Oh my gosh, you would not believe the timing of this. So this evening we had a meeting with Jason, the big boss at GT, and he broke the news to the whole team that there will be no GT factory racing moving forward. That's it. Downhill, enduro, it's gone. The worrying thing is that this isn't the only team that's pulling back. And yeah, it's just quite a shock for everyone. The fact is, right now, here and now, I am paid to race my bike, and that is amazing. And I need to make the most of that because that's going to change. There's change on the horizon, but right now, I've got one mission, and I'm just going to give it everything. So I'm going to enjoy that and see what opportunities come my way. So, earth-shattering news. Just before practice done, race done, came 10th, pretty stoked. I'm really stoked actually, massively relieved. That helps me a lot in negotiations moving forward, opens up some options hopefully. Little bike is amazing, team vibes were all time. It was great to be with the downhill team. The community and the people around you lift you up and keep you going. GT factory racing, maybe no more, but man, they rock while we're still at it, so I'm stoked to be a part of it and really happy to just be back in that top 10. After an intense week, I headed to Ligier with the downhill team, did some work with our suspension guru Rich Simpson and got some fun laps with the girls in. Yeah! Over the ramps! Over the ramps! Not that way! Oh my god! Loudenvale was the first time in over a year that I'd felt like I was racing like my old self. Although I'd had a solid result, I knew that another race under my belt would really help improve things before the final EDR of the year. So we're back for more. The Swiss Enduro Champs this weekend at the Aletsch Arena, the biggest glacier in Europe. Eggeshorn lift. I'm gonna check out some epic trails. Having raced the Swiss Enduro races before, I knew I was in for a good time. So well organised, brilliant group of people, awesome tracks, and an amazing atmosphere. I completely surprised myself at that race, racing against Melanie Pujan, who's been at the sharp end of enduro for a while now. I won the first two stages. I couldn't believe it. I knew I was riding well and I really felt that race flow again, which I've been missing for so long. It felt so good and the result was an absolute bonus. I ended up second, screwing up on the last stage, but I couldn't have been happier to have a race where I actually felt like myself again. Even if I never raced again, just knowing that I managed to make it back to that feeling meant everything to me. Not only was there a potential premature end to my career looming over me, a major part of my personal life was also falling apart too. It made for an emotionally draining week. One of those times you really just can't believe what is happening.
How are you feeling, Katie?
I am feeling mixed emotions. I am staying focused on the here and now, because here and now everything's great. We've got a great team, we've got a great bike, we've got amazing trails, we've got a beautiful day, and that is fantastic. There's a swirling future question mark for me, but I am just gonna have an awesome day and deal with that next week. That's next week's problem.
Sick.
That race was and still is one of the most surreal experiences of my life. I still to this day don't even know where I finished on the result sheet or where I finished in the overall. Nothing seemed to really matter. This was just the quiet before the storm. I'm so grateful for all the work I've done with Alan Mulvey, my mental performance coach, over these years, that has given me the tools to cope with that situation, that kind of race, where everything else in your life is falling apart, but you've still got to give 100%. In the race, I gave everything for GT. I had a great day. I loved riding my bike. I had fun with the girls. And I finished. So, what am I doing for 2024? That is the question. And it became very evident very quickly after the end of the season that there was a slim to no chance of me getting a deal. And not just me, but for a mountain of riders within the EDR community. So it's gnarly times out there, and we're seeing it in the riders, but this is also going on behind the scenes, the brands just collapsing and employees getting fired and all sorts of things. Like, there's a major industry issue happening right now. So although we see it in the riders, this is a much bigger and wider problem within the bike industry. So if EDR wasn't an option for the brands, I created a new proposal with an alternative set of offerings from me to see if they would be interested in that. That still didn't take off, and so I believe where there's a will, there's a way, and if I really wanted to race EDR next year, I would. And we will see a lot of racers getting out there who have been paid in the past or were professional, now doing it off their own backs in order to keep their career alive. I have done this. I did this in 2021, and I'm really proud of the relationships I made that year and what I achieved that year. But I don't want to do it again, because I know what's possible when I'm in that situation. I'm curious about what's possible when I'm pushing to try and win one of those races, when I've got everything that I could possibly need in order to be at the top of the sport. That's what I'm really curious about. And I'm not going to be able to do that next year. And so for me, it wasn't worth trying to do this again, especially if I'm investing all my own money into this. So instead, I'm investing in developing my skills on and off the bike. I've got a really exciting year planned. I'm buzzing for it, and I'm going to take you along with me. This is the first time since I was 13 that I've not been on a training program. Yes, I raced cross country until I was 18, and then when I turned 19, I got into racing enduro and never looked back. But I've been on a mission, and this is the first time I've been free, so I've got all this extra time and energy to put into making content and taking you to do some cool stuff, push my limits, encourage you to push yours, and yeah, I'm just buzzing for what's to come and to see what happens when you're just open to opportunities and seeing what's out there and trying new things. So it's pretty sad and was hard to sort of let go of my enduro dreams, but I'm so grateful for everything that I learned and everybody that I met during that time, and I want to say thank you so much to all of you who followed my journey since the beginning or at any point. I've really appreciated your support. Thank you to all the coaches over the years who've got me into peak physical performance so that I could perform at my very best. To all the brands, even at the very start when I was absolutely nobody, that took me on, helped me out. Trek made my dreams come true. It was unbelievable when I got to sign with them as still fairly like a nobody, They took me on and took me to some of the best results I've ever had, and I'm so grateful for that. And then in 2021, when I took on the EDR myself and raced for Nukeproof and SRAM and Zip and Troy Lee and all these brands that came on board, and all of you that supported me through Moxie 11, that was my favourite year by far, because it took everything I had in order to turn up and perform, and I'm stoked to have done that. And then to GT Factory Racing and GT Continental Factory Racing for supporting me the last 2 years and allowing me to get back after after an extremely hard year. So yeah, I'm really grateful to everyone I've met, to everybody that supported me, no matter how small or how big. I'm grateful to all of you, and I hope you'll come with me on this next journey of mine. So thanks so much.